Did you know that in the post-Reconstruction South, a black person could be arrested for juggling? They could also be arrested for spending their money wrong, or visiting a bawdy house, or drinking. The most common way to get arrested, though, was vagrancy or loitering, being idle. So if you were unemployed, they'd arrest you. You'd be put in jail and charged a fine to be able to get out. Unfortunately, you're unemployed. You have no money. But you know who did have money? Landowners who needed workers. So what the landowners would do is they would come to the jails and they'd pay your fine, which is usually around like $5. Adjusted for inflation, it's about $100. And what that $5 would get you is a laborer. They would be contracted to work for that landowner. And the expectation was you work on that farm and eventually pay back that landowner. The trouble was that landowner is charging you room and board. You get charged for living on his property. You get charged for the clothes he puts on your back. You get charged for the food that he feeds you. And if you were to sign a labor contract with this landowner, you can't read, you're a former slave. There was also sharecropping, and sharecropping wasn't much better. Sharecropping was supposed to be fair, because if you work hard and there's a really good harvest, you get a share of the profits made from the crop that you bring in. So if the harvest is bad, you're screwed. But also if the harvest is good, the landowner can just fudge the numbers. And again, you can't read. And if you were to question that white landowner, that could get you killed. Oh, and about that buying people out of jail for $5, before, when slavery was legal, buying a human being was an investment, and you had an incentive to keep your investment around as long as you could. But when you've got a cheap supply of labor in jails for $5 a pop, life was cheap. You could work these black folks to death and pop up at the jail the next day and get yourself another one. Which brings me to ICE and the migrants that we're rounding up now. Trump has said that he is interested in a migrant leasing system, where farm owners can lease migrant labor. Those farm owners would take responsibility for these migrants, at very, very reasonable rates, of course. And this is why we say history doesn't always repeat, but it often rhymes. And this is also why I say, if you want to understand what's happening today, and also be able to predict what's next, you need to learn your post-Reconstruction history. The sins of the past have not been absolved. In fact, they're sins that we plan on revisiting.